In 2025, the oneworld airline alliance did something it hadn't done in years. It welcomed not one, but two brand new members into its exclusive club. And if you're a frequent flyer or someone who loves collecting airline miles, this matters more than you might think. Because the alliance you fly with can make or break your travel experience, from the lounges you access to the connections you make halfway across the world. So, let's dive deep into everything that's happening with oneworld right now, and trust me, there's a lot more going on than just adding a couple of airlines to the roster. First, let's set the stage. oneworld currently stands at 15 member airlines, and yes, that makes it the smallest of the big three global alliances. Star Alliance towers over everyone with 25 members, and SkyTeam sits comfortably in the middle. But here's the thing about oneworld. It's never really been about quantity. Since its founding in 1999 by four heavyweight carriers, American Airlines, British Airways, Cathay Pacific, and Qantas, the alliance has always positioned itself as the premier option for travelers. That's literally how they brand themselves. Whether that reputation still holds up today is definitely up for debate, and we'll get into that in a moment. The alliance's journey over the past few years has been fascinating to watch. While they've grown steadily, adding more members than they've lost, the quality conversation around some of their founding carriers has become increasingly complicated. American Airlines has faced its share of criticism from frequent flyers. British Airways, once the gold standard of European aviation, has seen its reputation take some hits. Even Qantas, Australia's flying kangaroo, isn't immune to passenger complaints. Cathay Pacific has weathered various storms but still maintains strong loyalty among many travelers who appreciate their service standards. The reality is that every traveler's experience is different, and what one person considers excellent service might be mediocre to another. But frequent flyers who've been loyal to these carriers over decades can tell you whether things have genuinely improved or declined. And those conversations happening in airport lounges and online forums paint a complex picture. Now, if we're talking about game-changing additions to the alliance, we have to go back to 2013 when Qatar Airways joined the family. This was arguably the most significant membership in oneworld's history. Qatar Airways brought something invaluable to the table, a strategic position in Doha that connects the Western world with Africa, Asia, and the Far East like few other hubs can. The carrier has consistently ranked among the world's best airlines, and their inclusion elevated the entire alliance's prestige. When you can fly American domestically, connect through Doha on Qatar Airways, and end up in Southeast Asia all on one alliance ticket with seamless lounge access and benefits, that's when the alliance model really shines. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. In April 2022, oneworld and S7 Airlines agreed to suspend the Russian carrier's membership until further notice. This wasn't a business decision. It was a geopolitical necessity following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The sanctions, airspace restrictions, and dramatically altered aviation landscape made continuing the partnership impossible. It's a sobering reminder that airline alliances don't exist in a vacuum. They're subject to the same global forces that affect everything else in international relations. So where does oneworld stand today? According to their own numbers, the alliance serves over 900 destinations across 170 territories. They operate hundreds of airport lounges through their member airlines, and they're finally catching up on something they should have done years ago, but we'll get to that shortly. The network is genuinely impressive when you map it out. You can fly from Santiago to Sydney, from Tokyo to Johannesburg, from New York to Mumbai, all while staying within the oneworld ecosystem and enjoying consistent benefits. Let's talk about those recent additions that brought the alliance to its current size. Royal Air Maroc became a full member on April 1st, 2020. Talk about unfortunate timing. Joining an airline alliance right as the pandemic shut down global aviation. But in hindsight, it laid crucial groundwork for post-pandemic recovery. Royal Air Maroc became oneworld's first full-member airline on the African continent, which was significant. However, and this is important to note, their position in Morocco's northwest corner means their connectivity across Africa isn't comparable to what Star Alliance enjoys with Ethiopian Airlines, which truly covers the continent comprehensively. Alaska Airlines came aboard on March 31, 2021, becoming the 14th full member. They'd received their formal invitation just 8 months earlier in July 2020, and their addition made perfect sense. Alaska brings extensive coverage of the U.S. West Coast and Alaska itself, markets where oneworld needed stronger presence. For travelers in Seattle, Portland, and the Pacific Northwest, Alaska's membership opened up the entire oneworld network in ways that simply weren't accessible before. Then came 2025, and this is where things get interesting. On March 31st, Fiji Airways joined as oneworld's newest member. Now, Fiji Airways isn't going to revolutionize global aviation. They're not a massive carrier, but what they bring is crucial connectivity between Asia, North America, and the South Pacific. For travelers wanting to explore the Pacific Islands while earning and burning miles within an alliance structure, this addition matters. It fills a geographic gap that oneworld previously couldn't serve. Just 3 months later, on June 30th, 2025, Oman Air became the 15th member. Like Fiji Airways, Oman Air isn't a giant in global aviation. Some might argue it creates a bit of overlap with Qatar Airways territory in the Middle East. But it provides additional options and routing flexibility for alliance members, particularly for travelers heading to Oman itself or using Muscat as an alternative connecting point. Now, about that thing oneworld should have done years ago. In January 2024, the Alliance finally opened its first ever fully branded dedicated lounge at Seoul Incheon Airport. Let me put this in perspective. Star Alliance opened their first branded lounge at Los Angeles back in July 2007. SkyTeam launched theirs at London Heathrow Terminal 4 in June 2009. oneworld is roughly 15 years behind the curve here. The Incheon Lounge is a collaboration with Swissport and the team behind Aspire Lounges. It spans 555 square meters with seating for up to 148 customers. The design is contemporary, bright, and positioned no more than 10 minutes from the furthest oneworld departure gates in Terminal 1. Not wanting to wait another 15 years, oneworld opened their second branded lounge just 1 month later at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. This one's slightly smaller at 473 square meters. While these lounges don't replace the flagship lounges member airlines operate at their hubs, they fill a crucial gap at airports where oneworld carriers fly but don't have their own lounge presence. Think of them as the Alliance's safety net for premium passengers. Despite being the smallest major alliance with no South American member and limited African presence, oneworld has racked up an impressive collection of awards. In August 2024, readers of Tracy Travel voted them favorite airline alliance for the third consecutive year and 7th time overall. That same November, Business Traveler magazine named them Best Airline Alliance, as did Business Traveler USA. Then in December 2024, Global Traveler gave them their 15th consecutive Best Airline Alliance award. Most recently, the Seoul Incheon Lounge won Asia's leading airline lounge business class at the World Travel Awards. Now, do these awards actually mean something, or is it just marketing noise? That's fair to question. With so many different organizations handing out awards, every alliance can claim to be the best at something. But it's worth noting that SkyTeam seems to collect fewer of these particular accolades than their rivals, so oneworld loyalists certainly have bragging rights. The alliance celebrated its 25th anniversary in 2024, and they've brought in new leadership to guide them forward. Nathaniel Nat Piper, an airline industry veteran, is now at the helm as CEO. What this fresh leadership will bring remains to be seen, but the 2 new member additions in 2025 suggest an alliance that's still growing and evolving rather than stagnating. So what does all this mean for you as a traveler if you're loyal to American, British Airways, Cathay Pacific, Qantas, or any of the other member carriers? You've got more options than ever before. The network keeps expanding, the lounges are finally getting built, and the award recognition suggests they're doing something right. But the questions about individual carrier quality remain valid, and those are conversations worth having as you decide where to invest your travel loyalty.